Hi, everyone. Welcome back. You're still with us here on the C Morning Show, and it's time for Sports Talk. And this is where we're going to bring you insights and top stories from the world of sports. And in this second discussion of the morning, we're going to dive into a very exciting sport that is gaining momentum among women in Indonesia, and that is flag football.
Exactly, Paul. I used to play flag football, and it was really fun. There's a community called Women's Flag Football Jakarta, or WFF Jakarta, that is focused on empowering and supporting women through flag football. They're also breaking the stereotype that flag football is a male-dominated sport. That's really interesting.
That's right. So to find out more about their activity and programs, as well as the league itself, and we have the actual people behind it, joining us this morning is Melica, Rosandi, and Raysha Sutopo from the Women's Flag Football Jakarta. Thank you for joining us this morning, ladies. Good morning.
Yeah,
good morning.
Thank you for joining us at such an early time. But it's usual for them. They have early practice at 6.
There you go.
This is not really hard to wake up.
Still Sunday morning football.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about, first of all, let's talk about WFF, Women's Flag Football Jakarta. It's a community, but you have actually a league as well. Tell us about it and how it was founded.
Yeah. So I think it started with Jakarta Flag Football, right? Yeah. So I think the guys already had like a community going on since before the pandemic.
Right.
Then afterwards, they tried to invite girls, like
To play together.
yeah, to play together and then hopefully play
Not
themselves.
to watch, to play together.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So it started from that, and back in 2022. Afterwards, there was like around that time a tournament in Jogja. They asked, "Do you guys want to start a team, like a Jakarta team?" Like, yeah, sure. So it went on from there, I think, right, Raysha?
Yep. So then we got the feeling of a competitive sport between regions.
Right.
And we were very new. We just started for 3 months, and then we just left for Yogyakarta. And then after that, we felt like the competitive spirit.
Yeah.
So then we decided, okay, maybe to build momentum every year, we decided there should be a league within Jakarta so that we'll be more prepared when the time comes for us to compete with other regions.
So, I mean, having a team is basically gathering enough players to play on one team, but starting a whole league, I mean, that is such an expansion. Was it challenging to get, to invite players that would be interested? And I'm sure many aren't familiar with it and got familiar with it throughout this process.
And to get that many people committed at one team, committed after office hour practices, early 6 a.m. morning practices, what got they really into and motivated?
I think it started with the community sessions. So we always have it every week for beginners and also for developing players. And a lot of it's on social media. All the pictures, and then people check out our Instagram.
Nice.
Oh wow, what's this for? I want to try. And I think also because we are all pretty new in it together, people are less reluctant to try. So that's how we got new players. And I think we started our first league by draft, our first tournament.
Oh yeah, they have a draft.
That's really cool.
Like to get the girls together, because then we didn't really know how to how do we make teams?
Yeah.
Right.
We don't know the positions, what our positions are yet, because everyone is relatively new. I think most have backgrounds in sports,
Right.
but no one has ever played flag football, right? So I think that's where initially we found our calling for this position, let me say, and then it just continued from there to be a committed team.
Okay.
But aside from supporting and empowering women through flag football, are there any more concerns or the community's main concerns?
I guess first is lifestyle and sport. I don't know, creating a safe space for people to have an active lifestyle, to explore a new sport. And it's also very inclusive in the sense that, it's for any age or size. There will definitely be a position that's good for you. What else is
And
there?
also because I think it's a team sport. I think people tend to forget that if it's a team sport, then, when you both say commitment, that's where it is, because you don't want to let your other team down. So we're trying to build like this sisterhood a bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a certain camaraderie that comes with playing together, a sport like football as well. Now, we should clarify for our viewers, if you're not familiar, I mean, this is football, as they say, American football, as opposed to European football is soccer, is what it's called in America. So a lot of, there's been a lot of, obviously, those that don't familiarize themselves with the difference with American football that we see, for example, in pro league like the NFL, then flag football. some would be concerned, like, oh, it's such a contact sport. We see all these big, bulky guys in the NFL, and they're smashing into each other. And obviously, you can attest to this as well. Flag football is something completely different. It is the same type of sport, but it is a non-contact sport, correct? And how could you explain perhaps how you would convince others that this is actually a safe sport to play, and that the rules actually kind of, I would say, emphasize the safety of the sport itself?
Yeah.
That's true. Normally, the first concern is definitely like, isn't it a contact sport?
Right?
And we're
Okay.
like,
Yeah.
no, it's not.
Will I get a concussion?
Yeah, no. We say like, we don't tackle people in replacing tackle. You know, we just pull the flag.
You capture the flags that are on your waist.
Yeah.
Yes.
Correct.
We're like, so we explain to them like, if any injuries happen, I don't know, that's the risk that comes with any sport basically, but it's definitely no tackling involved if you're a girl, right?
Right.
And their concern is, oh, I don't know how to play the sport. I've never tried before. Like, it's okay. You know, there are a lot of beginners. You can start with our community sessions every week and learn together.
Right.
So, and girls are often like, they are in groups, right? So, you know, they need to have a friend like, oh, if my friend's going, then I'll go.
Right, okay.
how we
And
do
we
it.
should explain as well, then, unlike the American football that we see in the professional leagues, as we're seeing clips of it right now, you don't actually have to wear helmets and padding.
No.
And I should attest to this as well, that my friend Ralvi here did used to play flag football. He did stop because of injury,
Yes.
but that injury was a non-contact injury, correct?
It was a non-contact injury.
There you go.
So it was my own fault. Yeah, it was a non-contact injury. I was making a cut.
Yeah.
And I don't think my knees can handle it.
Couldn't hold up.
Couldn't
under the
hold up.
pressure. There you go.
So then, yeah, that's basically what happened. But it is really a fun sport, and I wish I could get back at it, but I need the proper training and rehab
There you go.
to actually play again.
Practice with them.
I will. I actually did a couple
Play
times.
together.
Yeah, you do.
I think I did.
That's cool.
Practice a couple times with them. So yeah. So you made a league last year.
Yes, it was last year, right?
It was last year. So you gathered all the teams, you made the rules and stuff. It's really legit. So how did that all happen?
I think we were inspired by the men's league.
Oh,
So like how I mentioned, we had a tournament where we were drafted. It was also helped out by the guys, and we had guy coaches. But last year, it was basically on our own, I think. And
How
the
many
girls,
teams did you start with last year?
6.
Six.
Yeah.
And you've since expanded this year.
Yeah, several teams kind of disbanded. Yeah, and then
Okay.
now
So
we
one
have new team. Yeah. Quantity-wise, one new team. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I think the girls by that time already had a lot of experience on the field,
Right.
and then they already found, their groups, their friend groups. Like, oh, let's make a team together. So it's from there, I think, and what I get.
Yeah, and I think we decided that also community sessions alone, it enhances your skills, but I think it's different when you compete, right? You
Yep.
have to
Yeah.
focus on it. Every week they practice sometimes 4 times a week even.
Right.
And I think people don't realize that also when there's a league, there's a lot of commitment to it, like practice after work. We also see plays from other teams and things like that. So that enhances the knowledge of the game and also their own skills. They do agility, endurance, and then they go as a team together.
Right.
And they play the game on the weekends.
And by the way, I think one part that is more challenging in flag football than like what you see in the NFL professional American football is you have to play both sides, right? You have to play defense as well as offense, or do you split
No.
it? Oh, you split it?
You split it.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
So,
so
you
there's-
so the
there's- so
teams are
there's
quite large,
So there's 500 people in one team.
just about, more or less. Wow, okay.
That's a lot of people.
Wow. All right, so...
Unless you're really good,
Yeah, you can play both.
you can
I
play
guess.
both.
Oh, Deion Sanders.
can play both.
Deion Sanders of flag football. There you go. So I'd like to go back to a point that you mentioned earlier. This all came about when you guys played a tournament outside of Jakarta. So how well is the sport known outside of the current capital city, Jakarta? Because there is growing interest here, but is it growing as well in other parts of Indonesia?
I think in other parts they've also had flag football since before the pandemic, but
Oh, wow.
probably mostly in Java. I'm not sure about like the other islands like
Okay.
Sumatra or Sulawesi, but mostly Java. Yeah.
And also each university have their own
that right?
teams sometimes.
Now, I
Yeah.
heard there's one university who actually gave scholarship
Yeah.
for flag football.
Really?
Yeah, here.
Okay. And you guys mentioned something interesting, Ralphie. You brought it up. It's actually going to be an Olympic sport.
It did. Yes. So
Could this possibly be churning up more interest as well? Yeah.
Yeah, of course. But
Very cool.
because the sport is going to the LA Olympics in 2028, it's gaining popularity. But what steps have you taken to actually promote flag football here in Indonesia. But not only that, especially for women, other than coming to see today.
I don't know.
Good one.
We still, yeah, like today. We still are really active on social media. I think consistency is key in terms of like our presence in social media and also hosting community sessions, because community sessions pull in participants that are newer, and also with like things like the league, it motivates people to take it to a more competitive level. And above the Jakarta level, there's also like Merdeka Bowl, for example, the national tournament. And also some teams have actually gone on to international competitions, like independently. So I think what we've tried to do is just keep it going as much as we can. What else? Maybe.
And also maybe to add to Melica as well, before, this is called the major league, we also have minor league actually.
Is that right?
Earlier this year. So for someone who's very, very new, don't be shy. You know, they can also participate in a league, and the level is not maybe as advanced as what we're doing currently, but they can get the feel of what the competition is. And some teams that are in the minor league goes into the major league.
Okay, once they feel like they're ready.
Once they feel like they're prepared,
Right. Okay, so this is, if you ask me, this is extraordinary growth from, you know, starting out as an idea to have a team, to have a league, and now you have actually levels of the league itself. This has just been happening in the past 2 years, or I would argue a few years before that, where the idea came. But where do you see yourselves over the next few years, and how do you see the growth of WFF?
Ambitious goals, yeah.
That's good. They have
It's
to
gonna
be.
be ambitious goals.
I think we'd definitely like to collaborate more with other regions, because right now we're still very Jakarta focused. I mean, it's called WFF Jakarta.
Right.
But we do get to know several players from other regions, usually through competition. We'd love to have maybe like a mini camp or something together, and then kind of learn from each other, from other communities as well. So that's what we hope to do, right, in a few years.
I'm hoping that you would eventually just be WFF, right? Like the WFF league nationally, right? Perhaps you could have road games. Like that would be really cool.
Wow.
Yeah,
Didn't even think of that.
yeah, we haven't even think of, but thank you for
Yeah, no, I mean, if you have a team from
Suggestion.
Bandung, they could just travel away and home one each, you know, and that's the aim, right?
Yeah, that's
true.
To recognize talent.
I think maybe the number of teams as well. I think we'll be in shock maybe later in coming years. It's more than just 7 teams. It's like 14, like even double. Then we'll realize, I think, there's a lot of interest in the sport where people are making new teams.
I agree.
So yeah, this is really interesting. I've been following the growth since 2019, and I couldn't be more prouder of my friends who actually took the time and built this community. Shout out to all my friends on Jakarta Flag Football and the whole organization. Thank you very much.
Obviously, it was gave you guys a good starting block to launch this platform.
Yes.
And how can we find out more? Might be women out here in Indonesia that are interested to find out more about WFF Jakarta?
Yeah, you can check our Instagram.
Yes. What is it? What's the handle?
Instagram for sure.
WFF Jakarta.
And Jakarta Flag Football as well.
Nice.
We collaborate sometimes.
Oh,
so,
perfect.
Yeah,
There you
you'll
go.
get all the ideas.
Last question for me. What position do you play?
Yes.
I play wide receiver.
And yours?
I'm a pass rusher.
You're a pass rusher.
Yeah.
So to conclude this, take long.
Oh no!
Go long, go long. There you go. Hey.
God.
Thank you, ladies, and all the best with the season coming up. And we hope to see more progress from WFF Jakarta in the coming
Thank
years.
you
so much for
Thank you
having
very
us.
much.
All right, we're going to take a short break here. That does it for Sports Talk, but don't worry, we have more sports coming later on in the program. But first, a short recap from our previous segment. That's coming up after this next break. Stay tuned.